Welcome back. This is Loud and Gaming with part 3 of our uh, Pokemon-like game. Last episode we started to set up the battle scene, and I think it came out pretty good. Let's just go to that scene. Zoom out. So here it is. Looking pretty good. We got the names to change. We got the correct Pokemons to show. One that the player has, and one that you encounter. So now it's time to work on actually doing the battles. It is kind of fun doing the series. Um, just a little bit of a story. I didn't really grow up playing Pokemon. Pokemon kind of came out um, not when I was a kid. I was more in high school, I believe, when it came out. So I didn't own a Game Boy at the time either. I eventually got a Game Boy Pocket when I was in college. It's probably in the late 1990s or 2000s, and I bought a Pokemon Yellow for it. It was the only game I owned for it, because at the time I was really probably playing Nintendo 64. But yeah, so that's all I had, and I'm not sure how much I actually played of it. I probably played quite a bit of it at first, but then probably stopped afterwards. So I'm not like a major Pokemon kind of uh, person. Like I don't know all the Pokemon names and all the different types or anything like that. I just kind of know the game, but it's kind of cool just making this kind of iconic game, like taking the mechanics and being able to replicate it. All right, so let's get into the battle system. So I did have to read a little bit about how the battle system works for Pokemon because I honestly wasn't sure how it worked, but we're not going to do it perfectly like theirs. This does seem maybe a little bit too much in the battle manager. I think all of this stuff here and this stuff here, you could have another script called UI that keeps track of all this. If you want things a little bit cleaner, like the battle manager, maybe the battle manager only handles the actual battle, like all the stats and doing those things, where the UI, you have another script that handles displaying the information. But it's okay, we can use one. Um, the script just gets a little bit too long sometimes, and it starts to feel unorganized. But let's see, we are going to do some kind of public enum, call it game state. Or here, let's call it battle state. And this is something we're probably going to need to play around with. Like I said, I don't have it scripted out what all I'm going to program. So this isn't quite a tutorial like you would watch maybe somebody else who has it all scripted out and who's probably already practiced the coding. There was no practice ahead of time. It's just my own thoughts in my head and then just go with it. So I think we're going to have what is called the player select. And this is when the player will be able to pick things. And then we're going to have a perform attack. Perform attack. And then we might have like a cleanup. We might have like perform attack 1. We could have like initiative. Initiative. So we might, so basically in Pokemon, the player picks their attack, and then after the player picks the attack, I think it uses the speed to determine who's going to attack. Actually, player, we can even say enemy select. So they both select it, and then it determines who is going to attack first, and then it performs each of those attacks. So we could even have like attack 1, attack 2, and then we can have some kind of cleanup phase if we need it. So it basically just goes through each of these. So let's we can minimize this, minimize that. Private update. Alright, so in the private update is where we're going to do I need a public. We need to have a public battle state called battle state. And then down here we can do a switch of the battle state. Alright. So during this player select, we're going to say, well, we're going to need some publics, voids, and again I could have put this all in like a UI manager and have a different script that handles the player selection. Yeah, let's do that. How about we do that? So let's go to our scripts and let's create a new script called player select action. All right, and we don't need any of these. Public, we have a public void attack. Public void run. Public void catch. Alright, so when running, we could just let's just make it automatic for now, but you would do some kind of calculation. I don't really know what the Pokemon calculation would be, but we can just do in here using Unity engine.instance not instance dot screen manager. So all this will do is when you run, load scene manager dot load scene, and what do we call it? Map scene. Let's see what we called it. So basically, when you click the run, it'll go back to the map, and it's kind of didn't like that. Maybe went back here too quick. There we go. All right, so in their scenes, it's called Overworld. Overworld. So all this will do is just load that back up, and then all you gotta do in your here, we'll leave it. I mean, you could actually put it here. It doesn't matter. Make it its own little script here. So in our action panels where we have the run, the in the event we click, on-click event, let's drag our Battle Manager object. Look for the player select action, and we can say, why am I not seeing it? Did I make those public? I did make them public. Let's try that again. Player select action. There it is. That's weird. So maybe I didn't save it. That's why. I don't know. So that's that. We might as well just hook these ones up while we're here. Oops, not the Battle Manager. Catch, and then the attack. Alright, so we got those hooked up. Now, in each of these, we only want to do if Battle Manager dot instance dot battle state is equal to the player select. We only want to do those things when it's our turn to do them. Oops. Alright. So, that's that. Now, when it comes to attacking, I suppose we could test it out. At least test out the running. Before we do that, let's go to our map data. Which really, we probably shouldn't call it map data, we should probably call it something else. What we want to do here is, before we load the scene, we want to say game data dot instance dot player position is equal to. Alright, so we don't have a reference to our player here, do we? Because we need to get a reference to the player. And we can simply just say public, you can say game object if you wanted to. Whoops. So we're basically going to say player object dot transform dot position. Alright, so we're going to save that position so that when we run away from these monsters, we'll be in the same spot. And so then I need to hook that up in our overworld. So that would be map data. Let's drag drag the player here. Alright, let's test it out. See if we can run away from the monsters. Going down here. Oh no, we're fighting a rabbit horn. Let's run. Yep, and there we go, we're back. Oh, we're fighting a elect cat. Let's run. Alright, so we got that. So we got our first action. Alright, probably the hardest part of this is going to be dealing with the animations and knowing when the animations are finished to go on to the next part of the battle. Alright, let's first start with allowing the player to pick an attack. So we're going to do a new UI panel. Actually, can we just copy one of these? Let's copy this one. That way I don't need to change too much. Alright, attack panel. Let's move it here. Let's get rid of this text. Let's add to this component, we're going to add a horizontal layout group. Probably make this smaller. Let's go to the action panel, grab this, Control C, Control V. Whoops, we went here. Alright, let's go to our spacing, padding. Let's do 10. Middle, center, upper center. There we go. So we can actually do like that, but then we can say 10. Yeah, 20 I guess. Spacing, maybe 20. Let me remove this clicking here. Minus. And this is going to be some kind of attack that you can pick. Maybe this is the, tackle attack. Something like that. And let me just, whoops. Oh, I did the wrong group. Remove, and you have vertical. Ooh, okay, we want, don't want it like that. Force child expand height. Yeah, there we go. And that way, let's do the padding. Let's go back to 20. And let's go to spacing 20. So we could do this dynamically. So let's go to our script. We're going to have another script called attack button. We'll come back to it in a sec. Let's delete this one. Let's add that attack script to it, attack button script. So this is going to handle the name of it, the type of attack, and all those things. Alright, we are going to need another script. And we're going to call this attack. So these will be all the different attacks that you could have. Now we're not going to go crazy with this game. One bit. So we're going to say create asset menu, file name is equal to, you've seen this before, attack, comma, menu name is equal to scriptable / attack. Alright, so what is this going to have? I'm not really too sure what Pokemon uses for these attacks. So we're just going to come up with something. We're going to just say int damage. And then we need a type for the damage. So I think in our monster type, we're going to say attack type. So it's going to use the same thing. Let's do these need to be public. Public string attack string. This might be we might do one more episode after this, because I don't know if maybe in this episode we just get the basic stuff of attacking, and then in the next episode maybe we do like the polish, a little bit of the polish with the battle system. Alright, so we got these attacks. How are we going to use them? So in our monster data, they're going to have a list, a public list of attacks. Okay, so we can add those and reference them. Alright, so now in our action button, let's just delete all this for now, but this is going to be a public attack. So what attack is this button using? And then we go on a public void click button. So this will trigger something in the battle manager. Basically, after we've clicked this, we're going to say battle manager dot instance dot battle state is going to equal to the enemy select. And in our battle manager, let's keep track of our two attacks. They might not need to be private. No, we need public. Public attack, player attack, public attack, enemy attack. So then when we click here, actually, what the heck? What did I? Oh, I put that in the wrong one. That's for catching. This needs to go here. Okay, and we want to say battle manager dot instance dot player attack is equal to attack. Alright, so going back to our battle manager. It's in our battle manager. No, it's in our player select. So we need to let's go to our battle manager. We need a prefab, serialized field, game object, call attack button prefab. Okay, so then in our setup battle, when we set up our battle, now this, let's do a private void here. We're going to set up attack buttons. And we're going to need a reference to the panel. Game object attack panel, so that we can parent that when we create these buttons. And we want to send a monster data. and this will be useful when if we need it, if we want to change our monster, we could just call this and then it could set it up. What we want to do is have a list of game objects called attack buttons. Okay. So what we want to do is when we set this up, we want to say for I is to the length of the attack buttons that count. We want to delete them all in case we have any. So destroy attack buttons. Now you could like reuse these things, but we don't need to worry about that really. Sorry, I. And then let's clear the list. Okay. So now for each attack in monster, the monster data dot attacks. So for each of those, we're going to create a button. So game object temp button is equal to instantiate the attack button prefab. And then we're going to say temp button dot get component. Let's go to the top here. We are using it. We want to get the text, and it might be get component in child dot text is equal to attack dot attack name, attack string. Okay, and then we want to get the button dot get component attack button dot attack is equal to this attack. Alright, so let's just, after we set up this, let's do set up, what do I call that? Set attack buttons. Set attack buttons, and we're going to send it the game data dot instance dot player monsters 0. So send it that monster to get the first one set up. Alright, let's see if that kind of works. When we click let me go back to the Battle Manager. I think I need this to be public because I might open it. I don't need to. I could have a, you could do it like this. I'll just show you. So I'm making that public. We just have a public function here. Show attack panel. And basically we say attack panel dot set active attack panel dot this, but we want to do the opposite, so we say not this. And then when we go to our player select, we just say battle manager dot instance dot Now, I'm doing all of this. You could do like an event system to where you don't have to use singletons, but I think this is fine for what we're doing. Like I said, this is more of a challenge for myself to see if I can replicate this somewhat. And sometimes the first thing that pops in my head is what I do. Plus, I usually do this kind of thing. I need to really practice using events more, but I just don't. All right. So do you think we got everything? All right. So let's go to our prefabs. Here's our attack. Let me call this attack button. Well, it's just kind of confusing, I think, but because we got this button, we got this one, but whatever. Oh, whoops. I didn't want to do that. Undo it. Okay, so we got that prefab. Let's go to our bell manager and see what all we need. We don't need that. See, these things we could probably hide in the inspector if we wanted to, so that I know, like, oh, I don't attach anything to that, but I think I'm going to leave it in the inspector just so I can see it when it does happen. Okay. So that's the prefab. Now what we need to do is go to our scriptables. We could even create a new folder called attacks. You could create another one called monsters, and then send all these, just kind of organize it a little bit. So let's create, darn it, I named it the wrong thing. Oh well, don't matter. Rename it attack, tackle, and let me go to it. So the attack string is tackle, damage amount is 5, who knows. We need probably another type that just says normal, but whatever. We'll just leave it. Here, let's just change this then to shock. Rename to shock, and then name this to shock. Let's do capital letters. And then let's go to our scriptables. Let's go to our monsters, and these monsters we're going to just say, oh, this is not. Let's put this here. So attacks, we're just going to give it the shock attack. We'll give them to both, even though this one won't have it. Okay, does all this work? Am I forgetting anything? I sure am. So I need to hook up. Let me go back here. We need this right here needs to be serialized. And let me just make sure. Okay, that's showing the panel. We are not actually, we are clicking this so we can see if this goes to the next one. Let's go to our scenes. Yep, definitely save it. And actually I clicked the same one anyways. Alright, let's play it. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to pause it for a sec. Click on the game. Let me change this to play focused. Yeah. Let me do like this. Okay, let me click attack. Hold up. We are again unassigned at the very. I didn't assign it. Okay, fine. Bell manager, attack panel needs to go here, and the attack panel needs to go bye-bye. Let's go to the overworld. Alright, we're walking along. Okay. So let me click attack, and we do not see that. And the reason why is because trying to see if I have that attack button anywhere. Yeah, I do. I did make it, but I didn't assign it to its parent. So let me go to the Battle Manager. Where we set up attack buttons after we create it. We want to say temp button dot transform dot parent is equal to attack panel dot transform. That's all you gotta do. So now put it in the right spot, and we should be able to see it. Alright, click attack. Shock. Look how large it is. Let me click the shock. Let me go to my battle scene. Let me go to my battle manager. If we look at our battle state, it's player select. Did I hook this up? I don't think I hooked that up. I didn't hook it up. This does nothing. So let me go to my prefab of that. And on click, click button. Let's go back to our scene manager. Why is it making it so big? You know, it might be maybe it's this here. Maybe we have to force expand, control the size. I'm not sure which ones I use. Oh, did you see that? That's kind of a bug. Attack. Whoa. No, 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 no. Alright, let's go back to this. Control. No, no. Force expand. I'm not sure which one does what. So watch this little bug while it's moving. Look at that. You see? Do like a little. Okay, so anyways. Why, oh why are you making it so big? Let me go to the prefab and make sure we're not expanding it. We're not. I can make it smaller, I guess, but I don't think that's the issue. Alright, well, that's why sometimes these groupings like this don't really do what you want it to do. Well, let's just carry on then. But oh, did I test whether it changed the? Whoops. whether it changed that or not. You always have to start it from here. It would be nice if I could have some kind of like default. So right now in our battle manager, we are player select. Let me click the shock. Enemy select is now the state, and we have the shock. All right, so let's get the enemy to pick an attack. Now we could just do it in here really quick. Enemy attack is equal to the enemy data dot attacks random dot range from 0 to the enemy data total attacks. So just pick one of our attacks to become our attack. Does that make sense? So we have a list of attacks from our enemies. Pick a random one between 0 and the total number of attacks, and then that will become our enemy attack. Now we can do battle state is equal to the initiative. All right. So here we would have to set up the initiative and then perform attack 1, perform attack 2, and do things based on we'll just do this. Public void enemy attack. Could we do it in a way that, let's just say perform attack. What we need, well, we're already separating all these things. You see here, player and image. It would be smarter to not do it this way so you don't have to reuse code over and over again. So this is not very efficient. Like, it would be better just say like monster image, monster name, monster HP, monster level, and then do that as like an array. So let me just show you how to do that. Show you that is probably better. So let's change all these. Let's delete this. We're gonna get a lot of errors. Let's change this to monster. Okay, we don't need to set whether it's, oh, wait, what was that one? Okay, monster HP, monster LV. And then down here, we're gonna get all these errors. So we want to change this to monster. And we're gonna say monster 0. Yeah. I was trying to think of how can I do this where it doesn't redo these. Where is this? Enemy data is equal to instantiate. This might be, we might want this first. Well, let's just, I'm afraid like if I do this, I mean I could, what I could do is instead of having enemy data, we call this monster data. And we want to equals new monster data. So we're doing 2 of them. All right, and then so when we're setting this up, set up battle, we're going to say monster data 0 is equal to this. Okay, and then we're going to say, let me get rid of this player setup. Monster data 1 is equal to whatever this is. This is what we need. So instead of enemy data, we're going to say monster data 1. Okay, so 0 is for the player, 1 is for the enemy. So now that we got that, let's delete all this. And we're going to do for j is to 2. We're going to put all of this inside of it. Okay. So we're going to loop through there, and so instead of the player monster, we're going to say monster data 0, monster image 0. Actually, not 0. We want to say j, monster monster HP, and the monster level. And so instead of saying this, it's going to be monster data j. So this is allowing us not to have too many. I mean, it's the same amount of lines of code technically, right? Because we're looping through and we're running this twice. So it's the same amount, just maybe it looks cleaner, a little bit more dynamic. We don't have to type things up for both. And we're just keeping track of monster 0 is the player, monster 1 is the, because it's the same stuff. Let's see here. Okay, so instead of this, we want to say, we could even do the same thing for these attacks. Monster data 1. You could even do like a public, not public, but another enum for, so you could just type in like enemy or player and then it would know. Or you just have you have 2 constants, one's called player, one's called enemy. I mean, it would be the same thing. So all you have to do is type that in. We might not need, we might change that to, instead of like this, attacks equals new attacks 2. Alright, we're going to have some more errors. So we're going to say dot attacks 0 and attack 1. Okay. So that was a lot. I forget why we were doing that. Okay. Okay, we're going to do something with performing the attacks. So when we perform the attack, we want an int called attack num, I guess. I don't know. But this is going to say who's doing the attacking. Attack num, and let's do it. Int defend num. Okay. So now here comes the difficult part. I know if we do float damage amount. Okay, so how do we want to determine the damage amount? So now Pokemon has kind of lengthy lengthy expression for determining the damage amount. I don't know it off the top of my head, but basically you take the level of the monster, you times it by the attack divided by the defense. I think you times it by 2, you divide by 50, and then you have to calculate all the, you times it by whether they're the same type, you times it by whether, the effectiveness of the type. So we're not going to do all of that. Let's just start with something maybe simple. So damage amount is equal to, let's take the level of our monster. So monster data attack num dot level. Let's take our level, times it with, we're going to do parentheses, the monster data attack num attack divided by the defense, the defender num, and we want to do dot defense. Okay, and then we probably want to do some kind of arbitrary number. So this is going to give us some kind of, if they're the same, this would be just times it by 1. If the attack was a little bit larger, then we're going to get a 1 point something. So that's how this works. If the defense was larger, then we would get like a 0 point something. And so it decrease the level. And then maybe we times this by, I don't know, 2. Okay. So now that we got that, we want to do sorry, I'm drawing a blank. We want to say monster data dot defend num dot HP is minus equals to the damage amount. There's more we're going to add later to this, but we'll just do this for now. Why do you give me a stink? We need to cache this to an int. I wonder if I need to make these integers or floats. I think so, because we do want a decimal here. So make them floats first. Times by the level, times by 2. Okay. And then we're going to subtract that. And then what we can do is monster HP text is equal to, dot text dot, I gotta say which one. This will be the defend them. Dot text is equal to, let me be consistent with what I put down here. Well, I don't even do HP. Well, this needs to say HP. So just do the slash, and this needs to, hold up. We need to get rid of that. Definitely don't want that. This is where like naming is not very good. This is like, maybe I should say battle monster data, because the game data has monster data, which is the kind of like the prefabs of all the monsters. Okay, where were we? Let's go to HP plus this plus slash plus defender dot HP max HP. Okay, so we're going to update that. Alright, so how do we perform these? Let's just skip the initiative phase, maybe. How do we determine the initiative phase? We're in random between a random 1 is equal to we're going to just do this really quick, 0 to 20. We'll do old school D&D, right? Do that, and then we're going to say random 1 is equal to monster data 0 dot speed. So let's add the speed to this roll. So if random 1 is greater than random 2, maybe we don't need this anymore, but maybe we do, I don't know. It turn we went 2 of them. This might not be the best way of coding this, but what I'm going to do is turn 0 is equal to 0. Turn 1 is equal to 1. Else, we're going to flip those. Okay. And then battle state is equal to perform attack 1. So then here we're going to perform attack. We need to send it the attack number. It's going to be turn 1. Oops, 0 and 1. And then we're going to do this. And we might add more in here to kind of control the animations, but for now we're just going to see if we can get through the attacks. This is going to become 2. And we'll flip-flop these. Now right now I'm actually not using anything with the attack that was picked. But let's just test all this out before we get too far. Okay, because we don't really know if this is working. Is there anything I need to set up? Yeah, I gotta set up a lot actually. Alright, let's go to our player. So we gotta set up these things. So monsters. Let's go to player image. Needs to be the first one. And the enemy image needs to be the second one. The names. This is the enemy name. Let me not do that one yet. Let me do. What you can do to kind of make this easier, you lock this, and then it won't change won't change this if I accidentally click something else. Player stats. So the name goes first. Then the HP goes here. And the level text goes here. Alright, now we'll do the enemy name. The level goes here. And the HP goes here. Alright, let's see what we got. We don't want to run it from there. Okay. Do we have any errors? We don't. It seems like we have the correct things. Let's click attack. I'm going to click shock. Let's see if we lose any HP at all. Okay. I need to close this. Let me close it. He lost 28, or he lost 2. Let's go through. Just go to our canvas. We want to just not show that. Whoa, look at that. Okay. I didn't go to the next state. Alright. Kept going back to number 2. Now we want to do that cleanup. And then in our cleanup, we do, for now, bal state is equal to bal state dot player select. Alright, so let's play it. Attack. Do the shock. Didn't close it again. do that real quick. Okay. So we're both doing 2 damage, which we should be doing the same amount. There's no, well, I think Pokemon does do like a random value as well. Because right now it's always going to be the same. So I click attack, should do two points of damage. And he's doing two points back to me, and partly because we don't have any like random value. And basically, what we could do is, yeah, I'm not sure. We do want some kind of random number. Int or random. Let's do can I do a float random? It's equal to random dot range from 0.5 to 1. So then I would times the whole thing by this random number. So it does between half of the number to the full amount. How do I do where it only does 1 decimal though? Here, let's do it like this. We're going to random from 1 to 2. Let's make it an integer. So it's either going to, is that right? Start at 1. Hold on. 1 max minimum inclusive returns a random, I think between 1 and 2, right? So we just times it by that random number. So it's either going to double the value. That seems kind of cheap though, doesn't it? Because let's say this attack number was 3, doubling it's not a big deal. I don't know. We do want a random number though. Well, let's just do it for now, whatever. But you can kind of see, you can do different, you have to really think about how you want to set it up. And I still didn't close that, so if I do that, here, let me put that in there. Attack button, after we do that, we want to say battle manager dot instance dot attack panel, or actually I just say show attack panel. That should close it. Attack, shock, attack, shock. You gotta make your own sound effects for this game. We're not really getting a random amount, are we? Eventually someone will die. Who will die first? Obviously we have to do the stuff for saying what's happening. Someone's going to die. Oh no. We haven't programmed it though. So, let's see. But, alright, I might call it a video here. And then but we kind of have it set up, don't we? We have a pacing to the game. we are determining here who's going to go first, and then we're performing those attacks. Now, why that might be important is, let's say, let's just put this in really quick. If let's see, if monster data turn 1 dot HP is less than or equal to 0, we don't want to perform the attack. And let's just debug .log dead. Else we would do the next attack. We probably need like another state that says death state, so let's just do that. Right here, comma death, and down here we're going to do add missing ones. Let's just add this to do it. Yeah. Oh man, let me change this to a capital E. That's annoying. Alright, then back down here, we'll just battle state is equal to battle state dot is equal to battle state death. Alright, and we would want to do the same thing right here. And we would say turn 0. Okay. So let's see if we can get a dead monster, and then we'll know for sure who did what. Maybe. So my attack. Okay, attack. So right now I don't really know who went first, because it seems like it happens at the same time. We're going to keep shocking you. Alright, one more attack. We'll see who dies first. Alright, looks like I died first. So he got his attack off first. It killed me. I wasn't able to attack him back. And he's dead. Alright, so that seems to be working. Well, that's about it for now. I think in the next episode we'll just do all the animations and do kind of the polish to it a little bit. Not too much, but just so we can kind of more see it visually. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying this, and I will see you next time.